Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Counter. I'm Keith Hancock, alongside with my partner and longtime hospitality industry pal, Christine Devita.
And welcome to another episode of Behind the Counter. We have a special edition episode today, right, Keith?
Yes, we do. We have Cutlets of Fury today. And I know right now our guests have no idea what the heck that means. But we're bringing our Richard Teear, our executive recruiter. You know, I know you and him go back. We call him Cutlets because he makes his homemade, world famous in our world, but will be world famous one day, chicken cutlets every Tuesday. I think that's the day, right, Rich?
Yes, it is.
Rich wears many hats beyond recruiting. He has an extensive hospitality background that's, dating back for a long time now. But aside from making cutlets and hospitality, Rich does many things around the house, from building pools to putting up flagpoles. When I first moved in my house, he offered to come down and renovate my bathroom for me. Rich can do it all. But today, we're going to start off with Rich. He's going to kick us off with a little bit about what led him into the hospitality and his background. So I'll leave it to you, Rich.
How you doing?
Doing good.
You know, before I get into my background, I just want to petition one thing, okay? I think we should call it Behind the Cutlet, but that's just me.
Gotcha.
You're rich.
I thought we were going to talk about we're doing a cutlet pop-up restaurant one day. I'm hell-bent.
Let's do it, man. I think we should.
You know, Rich being our regional executive recruiter, we totally didn't even plug him for that. We plugged him for cutlets and his construction background.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. Hey, listen, it's all good. You know, most of my life I worked in construction with my uncles, and then I actually was born into the business with my other uncle, Mario. Villa Malbona, Valley Stream. That was the first place. I was 10, 11 years old, maybe, and started working there. And I wound up spending almost 20 years in fine dining, and then another 20 years in fast casual after that. But I learned so much, and I worked Long Island, Manhattan. You know, when I got into fast casual, I wound up much traveling all over the country. My longest stint with that was probably with Fridays. You introduced me to Jojo DiBarberi.
Yes, I did.
Out in Farmingville. And, 12 years later, it was history from there. Great person. But yeah, I did construction during the day, restaurants at night. You know, I had my own business for, I think, about 15, almost 20 years. And that's all I did, actually, Keith, was renovate kitchens and bathrooms. Stuck to like Upper Brookville and Greenvale and all the, North Shore. All the money, baby.
The Gold Coast. The Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But Rich, you and I actually met for the first time, must have been 20-something years ago, over at the Olive Garden.
The OG, yes.
Olive Garden in Massapequa.
Yes, indeed.
I know you guys both know. Really added your Italian flair there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all my Italian relatives are rolling over in their grave just knowing that I worked there.
Hey, I'll give them that salad and breadsticks.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
That was something outstanding.
The salad was absolutely fresh. We made the soups every day, and it was a lot of good stuff. You know, just everything else. Listen, it's fast food Italian, and a lot of people loved it. I actually had an incident one day with a guest. One of my servers came running in the back. When I was over in Westbury. She comes running in the back. She's crying. Like what happened? Like, oh, table 54, table 50. I'm like, all right, I got this. You know, go in the back. I went out to the dining room. They have this Italian family out there from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, and the guy is standing in the middle of the row, and he's getting loud. I'm like, come over here, take a walk with me, and let's discuss this.
The infamous "let's take a walk" conversation. I love those.
Yeah, I wanted to bring him over. You know, because remember in Westbury, the family table was off on the side all by itself.
Yes.
So I wanted to get him over there, get him away from the other guests and everything, and get him away from whatever was inflaming him over on that side. And he just refused to go. I was like, all right, well, what seems to be the problem? How can I help? What can I do to fix it? He's like, you call this Italian food, blah, 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 blah. And, and I'm looking at the table, and there's 3 tours of Italy, which had to be the 3 worst pieces of food that we ever put out of the place on one plate.
It was a little bit of everything. It was like a combo platter. What was it, like a chicken cutlet?
Yeah,
It was
chicken cutlet, lasagna, fettuccine Alfredo.
Yes.
The fettuccine Alfredo was probably the best thing on that plate. And I'm like...
Actually, their fettuccine Alfredo is not bad. Last I remember.
I look at the guy. I'm like, let's start over. My name is Richie. He's I'm Tony. It's like, Tony, wait, you sound like you're from Brooklyn, Tony. It's like, I am. It's like, what part of Brooklyn? I'm from Brooklyn. It's Benson. I said, me too. It's like, what do you normally eat? He goes, this place, that place. I was like, oh. It's like, come here, man. You're complaining about Olive Garden. You brought your family to Olive Garden. Shame on you.
I can't. I mean,
it's like,
seriously.
Are you kidding me?
What self-respecting person who's Italian is going to go to the Olive Garden to have an Italian meal?
Well, out of one side of his mouth, the guy says, oh, yeah, we go to Randazzo's. It's like, you eat at Randazzo's, and then you brought your family, your mother and father, you brought to the Olive Garden? And you're not only are you complaining about the food, but you made that little girl cry? Now, you can go back to the table and tell your wife and your mother and your father why you can't eat here today, because you need to leave now. Don't even pay the bill. I need you out of here.
So, I have an Olive Garden story now I have to plug in real quick.
I can't.
Just because you did this. So, I'm going to start off with, what the heck was it? Sophia from the Golden Girls, all right?
Oh.
Picture it. Times Square, 2000. Two 19 and 20-year-old kids are walking through Times Square. We feel like having some drinks. We can't get any because we're not of age. No one was serving us. So we walk right into the Olive Garden in Times Square, up to the third floor, rip 2 bottles of wine off the wall and just walk out of the place, pop them open, and we're just partying and walking through Times Square with our friends, drinking friggin' wine that we stole from the Olive Garden.
Drinking bottles of Principato.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And now I don't feel like Darden Restaurants is going to be calling me for how much a bottle was it?
Watch, once this podcast airs, Keith's getting a call from Darden.
Yep.
You owe us for 2. It was probably the rosé, too.
I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. We didn't care. We were like, we just want to walk around and have fun.
Oh, man, I can't. So,
good times.
But the Principato was bottled just for Olive Garden.
Oh, yes, it was. It was their house wine, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And the never-ending wine contest.
I don't think we can mention the name of who actually made it, but it's actually a very good wine. Oh, yeah, we can. We could say it. It's Cavett.
Oh, yeah, it is. I remember that. Yeah, yep. Cavett, yeah.
Hey, listen, they do something right. And let's be honest, they have the best piece of friggin' property in Times Square, if not arguably probably in some of the whole Manhattan is an Olive Garden when you think about restaurant real estate.
Oh, yeah.
You ever see that one over there? That one is a bear.
You remember Bobby Perez, Chris?
Yeah, actually I do.
Okay. When I was with him in Westbury for 4 years.
He just got married, Rob.
He finally.
Congratulations, Rob, if you're listening to this.
Congratulations, Mr. Perez. Happy for you, buddy. You and Jennifer.
So, Rich, thank you for the bio, man. Actually, in our last episode, we talked a little about recruiting, and I don't want to make this episode about that. But I am curious because you handle a lot of it for us right now. You are our recruiter.
Yeah, for the East Coast.
Yeah,
so you are the man.
You do a great job. So tell me, in short, what do you think is the biggest hurdle right now that you face in regarding to recruiting and getting clients, people, and all those things from the client end and the other person's end?
From the client end, people still want to try and do it themselves, and it's a bear out there. From a candidate standpoint, a lot of these people are still, these extended benefits are killing it. They can stay home and make the same amount of money. They're staying home. We're running into that here and there. I actually had somebody tell me that they were content to collect unemployment. And it wasn't a salary to sneeze at. I think it was something like $85,000 plus a full benefit package. And they were like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna pass. I'm just gonna hang out and collect the unemployment. For a lot of people, it's a chance for them to reconnect with their families. We all know in this business that, that's a major disconnect. We spend so much time with the four walls. I don't have to tell you, Keith. I don't have to tell you either, Chris, but, it's hard on a marriage. It's hard on any kind of relationship. That building is, or number of buildings, if you're doing multi-unit, those buildings are the other woman. And we dedicate a lot of our time to it. And sometimes we neglect our family and we neglect our relationships. So, it's a time when people can reconnect and they're taking full advantage of it. And it doesn't help that the government has been subsidizing, what they already had. Because, I run into a lot of people who want to work and we're getting them working again. And it's great. And then there are certain people that just, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's almost 50% that are willing to just sit on their butts and not go back to work. And some of the clients, they've kind of put the screws to us. We had 3 clients that would only even look at people that were within like 15 to 20 minutes of their respective properties.
Well, I think sometimes that's the norm, especially for Long Island, especially because of the position that they're looking to fill, because they need that quick response if something goes wrong or if they need a shift. They need something there right away.
Thankfully though, Chris, with the advent of better POS systems that are integrated and do stuff in real time, thanks to our good partners at Spot On, you can get in there and be interactive in real time. You don't actually have to be in the building to do a lot of the fixes. If it's HR kind of stuff, how many times have we had to do that over the phone? But that's very, very true. Nice little plug for Jack and the boys there, huh?
Very nice.
Spot On POS.
And through this podcast and just at Devita Hancock in general, we're pushing people to say, hey, get back to work, not to really, speak too much to whatever your decision is, work, don't work, but really just, us being professionals and being on the inside of it, knowing that now's the time to almost get that dream job, and that's going to come, that's going to go away rather quickly in a few short months, and the people who are really looking at the broader scope of their life and thinking down the road are out looking for work right now. And they'll get a better job, a job that in 2019, they probably wouldn't have been able to get at the salary that they're going to get.
Oh, absolutely.
Correct. And the time of reconnecting with your family is over. You had a year and a half. Go back to work. That's how I am. Just go back to work.
Oh, absolutely.
I always try to recognize, too, that not everybody's a workaholic like me. Like to speak to what you said, Rich, in the industry as far as having a family and having kids. Yes, I'm married, but I don't have kids, and I never would. I wouldn't have kids doing this, to be honest with you. It's just too much.
Yeah, we miss too much of their lives.
Very consuming. You have to have a certain level of passion to do this type of stuff. You can have a normal life. Do the QSR end somewhat, but even then, unless it's a QSR that closes at 5 o'clock, when the building's open, especially now with technology, you got to be attached to it. If it's a 15-hour a day open business, you need to hear about things 15 hours a day, especially with texting. You've probably seen this. The phone can be heavy, right? Before texting, if you were a GM and you were off, you probably didn't hear from your team unless a building was on fire. For the most part, a lot of times GMs might call.
Yeah,
but now it's like
they have cell phones.
Yeah, now it's like you'll get texted a lot. I think that kind of unfortunately has made managers want to just check everything before they do it rather than just go and do it.
Well, then you got all the crazy apps, like the NCR app and the other ones like that, where you have all your numbers right there. That's like manager crack. Lead it into
I know we want to step away from the COVID stuff too much, but there's I know Christine has her opinions, and there's employers out there, giving incentives to get the vaccine in the hospitality industry, and not just in the hospitality industry, though. I see it everywhere. Retail. I think I forgot what bank I was in. I overheard people talking about it.
Keith, I got coffee this morning at Wawa, okay? And they got signs posted all over the place. They have $500, $600, $800 incentives, signing bonuses to work at Wawa.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that. But I'm talking about the vaccine. But yeah, to that point, though, with the bonuses, I saw that at Wawa, too, $500. I also saw a chain doing $5,000 for managers.
Yeah.
For what? To get their vaccines?
No, to go work there.
Oh, I was going to say, and I was going to start.
Yeah, signing bonuses. Well, I've seen 1,000. I've seen 1,000 to get the vaccine.
No, it was 5,000.
That kills me.
It was 5 guys.
That kills me because here we are, right, in the United States. Okay, we are. I'm not even going to call it. We're trying to hand out incentives. We're bribing people at this point to come back to work. And we're bribing people to go and get vaccinated. I have such a problem with that. This $5,000 incentive, and that's for people to get back to work.
That's what one chain was offering for management.
I told you, I almost took that one job because they were offering an Apple iPhone.
I mean, in an industry where you never really had a signing bonus unless you were on the C-suite level, now we're giving regular line managers bonuses. I mean, that's basically what it is, to jump on board to come back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's that, COVID didn't help. And let's be honest, I think our industry doesn't appeal as much to the, generation under us to come and want to do what we do. I have found, that there was a lot of people signing up for culinary school and hospitality school or whatever, and they would sign right out because people watch the Food Network. And that really glorifies what the industry is. It almost makes it look like you're a movie star, I'm going to go to culinary school and then I'll be Gordon Ramsay. And it's like, yeah, you're going to go to culinary school and you're going to wash dishes with your 4-year degree for the first couple of years and work your way up.
And you're going to work 6 to 7 days a week, 80 hours a week, never see your family, never have a holiday, never have a weekend or summer. And that's going to be your career. And
that's why you got to be passionate about it. Because I missed a lot of Christmases, especially in my 30s and late 20s. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't bother me because I loved what I did. And that was just the nature of the beast of what I did. I'm the first person to turn around to somebody who's entertaining the industry. And I usually tell them, don't do it. Unless you're going to be single for the majority of your life and not want a family, do not get into this industry. I try to talk them out of it. And if they still want to do it, then I say, give it a shot. I never say all the perks because there's a lot of positives if you are passionate about it. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of positives. In fact, I like not having a normal schedule. The only time I ever had one actually was when you and I were at Pret, Christine. I think you enjoyed that a little bit more than I did from what I recall. But when I left Pret, I was glad to get the hell out of that Monday through Friday thing. Really? Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah. But I didn't have that Monday through Friday for my career before then. Okay. So that was one of the biggest reasons why I went over to, not just Pret itself, but I guess Quick Serve. Yeah. I wanted somewhat of a normal schedule. I mean, it was getting to work at 7:30 in the morning to open up the shop. And it was great to get on the train at 6 something in the evening to get home by 7 and have some sort of a normal life and have Saturday and Sunday to myself. Yeah. I hear you. No, I know you pulled the grind for sure before that. I remember, your resume, but when I left there and got back into the other side of it, I was happy going into work at noon or 3. But that has changed, obviously, now. That was a long time ago. I don't even want to say how long ago it was. Show your age. You'll show your age.
I enjoyed the fine dining, man. I did miss my family a bunch, all the holidays and everything. But there were a lot of people. The business is not for everybody. Everybody says the same thing. Oh, I'm a people person. Well, that means, yeah, okay, that's nice. But it's not about that. You need to be able to be self-motivated. You need to be able to spend time alone. It's great for people who don't have a great marriage because that time away can really be helpful.
It will help strengthen your bond with your significant other.
Exactly. Well, what did I say, right? Absence makes the heart grow fonder?
That it does. So, Rich, what's your take on this vaccine with employers?
Oh, boy. Listen, you know what?
And the upcoming door knocking by the government.
Some people are going to be mighty disappointed.
Hey, wait, real quick. Do they got a bleep button on this thing, Christine?
Yeah, they could bleep.
yeah. 'Cause I'm gonna do my best to edit myself, but I can promise you that when they come knocking on my door, I am probably gonna come to the door in boxer shorts and a wife beater, cleaning my gun, and let them know that they are trespassing on my property. And by the time I count to 3, they better leave skid marks.
Oh my God, Rich! Just post that on the door I gave you.
I want one of those. Listen, this is a personal decision.
It is.
Okay, the government has their hand in enough garbage, and I think we can all agree. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, they're all corrupt. Okay? And everything that they've touched has gone to poop. Okay, you don't have to bleep it.
I F-bombed the other night on accident, so don't worry about it.
The more involved the government gets, the more screwed up everything gets. All right? Everybody's on the take. Half of Congress is getting money from Moderna and Johnson & Johnson and all these other companies. You know, they're in bed with who? They're in bed with this one and that one. You know, none of it is on the up and up. And the truth of the matter is, I don't believe for a second that they have our best interests, you know, in mind. They have their own pockets in mind.
Oh, I agree 1,000%.
Half these people would fix the brakes on their grandmother's wheelchair if you gave them the chance.
Yeah,
it amazes me. Listen, I'm pro vaccines. I get vaccinated for everything: the flu, obviously COVID. I'll go ahead and get my my second round of shots next year when they're due. Definitely bypassing the booster. I'm not doing that, but it's your body, your choice. I don't think anybody should push anything on anybody.
That's exactly what I was going to say. What happened to my body, my choice? Everybody was so vehement about that and up in arms. What happened to that? It's like the Me Too thing. What happened?
Right. You know, and I especially don't think employers should get involved with pushing a vaccine. I think they're way out of their lane with that, and it should be their employee's choice. I don't believe in giving incentives if you go get your vaccine, and I know a lot of companies are doing that. And companies are spinning it as where, we want to keep our workplace protected, meaning their employees, but there is, a handful of different ways to do that, and not by shoving a vaccine down their throat. Or even paying them to go get one. Well, if you go get a vaccine, I'm going to give you $500. For what? So you could turn around and say, my company is fully vaccinated. I think that's completely wrong. I know Keith and I agree that anybody in our company, we won't even broach the topic or the subject of being vaccinated. It's your body, your choice. You want to get vaccinated, go right ahead. You don't, that's fine. Don't get vaccinated. It doesn't do anything to us.
You know what? I absolutely agree with that. And if they need the time, if you need the time off to go get it done, you schedule whatever, fine, make that accommodation. But I'm not going to make you do anything. I'm not going to incentivize it.
Yeah,
what they're doing. What they're contributing to politicizing the whole damn thing, which is the problem to begin with.
I firmly believe that companies are doing it for a few reasons, right? It's to put their brand out there to say, hey, my whole company is vaccinated. 2, it's a whole political thing, right? And 3, it's, you put it out there that you're trying to protect your employees, but in the reality is it's exactly what I just mentioned. It's to put your brand out there, and it's whatever your political belief is. And I think that, companies should stay out of that lane and let their employees make their own choice. And if you're that concerned about the health and welfare of your employees, there's different avenues for you to take.
I agree. When it comes to any of that stuff, politics and work and all that stuff, I like to keep a brick wall between my personal life and work at all times. I very rarely talk about family, politics, anything, even to the point when it comes to politics, if somebody is spouting about something that I agree with, I don't want to hear it when I'm at work. I like to be focused on the task at hand. We're not in the political business. So shut up and serve food.
You know what? I think that everyone should take the same. And this is a little bit old school, but at the dinner table with the whole family or at work, you don't discuss religion. You don't discuss politics.
And I agree with, let people,
unless you don't want to be invited to the next family dinner, then by all means.
It's it's the choice of the individual. I'm like Christine. I got whacked up with that shot. I don't know about the booster yet. I got to read on it. What'll be happening there? It was a rough second. The second one was a really fun Sunday morning of laying in bed. But now
I've heard that quite a bit. Frankie's actually an outpatient medical coder, and she's seen all kinds of crazy stuff. People were actually been hospitalized after this vaccine. But thankfully, I didn't get it only because I have the antibodies.
Yeah,
because I was definitely a candidate for it. But
you were naturally protected, Rich. Naturally,
exactly,
protected. And that is the best way to be protected. But what happened?
Rich could have survived that movie. I don't know the name of it. Doesn't it? That movie about a pandemic that Netflix conveniently had on, and I never watched. Outbreak.
They had it on last year.
Yeah.
Is
right
that
when
the one
pandemic started?
Yeah.
Is that the one with Dustin Hoffman and
no,
Rene Rousseau or whatever her name is?
It's a new show. What
was that one?
But Rich was the scene. Remember, there was a scene where they had to take a shot to go to the monkey, and the guy went out there with like nothing on or something. That's Rich.
That's Rich. That's Rich.
Doesn't come in hot. I got to package up cutlets and send them out to the two of you too.
Yeah, we've been hearing about these cutlets for, I don't know, since March.
Okay, so since 2017, I've been hearing about the friggin' mug, okay? You want to get going on that? The man finally sends me the mug. Guess what? He sends me one for me. He sends one for Frankie, which is beautiful, and it was such, heartfelt, Keith. It was awesome. My mug came broken. I still don't have a friggin' mug.
So Devita Hancock, we'll give us a little plug there. We do mugs. We mug people. We send for our clients swag bags and stuff like that. But initially, sometimes if we see a client we'd like to work with, we mail them mugs and candy with our logo on it. And to be fair, Rich, it was 2018. Come on. Not stop being dramatic. We weren't even in business in 2007.
Yeah, it might have been. I think it was late 2017. I think you were thinking about it then.
I have promised Rich a mug for about 2 years, and finally got it to him, and the friggin' carrier sent him a broken goddamn.
It came in. It was in pieces, like literally.
No, but you know what kills me, right? Is that we did the artwork for the mugs, okay, and I get, obviously, Keith sends me 3 or 4 mugs. I hand them out to people, and I kept one mug for myself. Until recently, I saw the type of mug Keith had. He had the Rolls Royce of Devita Hancock mugs, and I had the Hyundai. And I'm like, what is going on right now? I was like, how did that even happen?
You can't say anything, Keith, because I saw the damn mug on the Zoom too.
I know, that was a great mug.
I'm like, wait a minute, that's a good looking mug.
And I'm thinking people are getting the mugs that I have, and I'm like, oh, they're cute little mugs. Meanwhile, they're getting the mugs that Keith has.
Frankie's mug came out beautiful.
Oh, that's good to know because we use the different companies.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'll tell you what, when we do the sweaters, you two will get North Faces, and I'll make sure I get the whatever they sell at Walmart brand embroidered. Okay, we'll call it easy.
Listen, I have 2 words for you, Keith. Bubble wrap.
I'm not branding these mugs. All right, that's them. And they should be sending you a new one. Just give it another 2024. You will have that mug. But you did get a notebook, Rich. To be fair.
I did, and it's beautiful, and I use it every day. I'm using it right now, in fact.
And again, I have no notebook.
And you're only the owner, CEO, so And with that,
seriously, you're the CEO. Order a damn notebook.
I'm not going to lie. I thought I was getting a notebook when Keith was telling me. He's like, "Oh, I sent a notebook to Rich, and I sent the mug to Frankie." And I'm thinking, all right, cool, man. I know he's going to send me a notebook. And when I saw the tracking info, and I'm like, I don't see any tracking info for Long Island.
To be fair, I did not send myself a notebook either. All right. Kristen, we got to pinch those pennies, man.
I know. But we have a lot of great clients. So, Rich,
Yes.
Will you come on again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. It was a pleasure having you.
Right. We love having you. It was a pleasure to have you, Rich. We appreciate you taking the time today. We know it's Saturday and you have some sort of project to do outside, but thank you so much for making the time for us. We just wanted to let you know, Rich, you add so much value to Devita and Hancock. We appreciate everything that you do, and we're happy that you're on board. And thanks again for putting up with us on a daily basis.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure, and the recruiter never sleeps. Literally,
That's
I'm up
it.
at 4 a.m.
That's
It doesn't matter weekends. It's the business. It's what we do. But no, you guys have been gracious, and love working with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's another episode of Behind the Counter. It's brought to you by Devita and Hancock Hospitality Group. If you guys are interested in recruiting or consulting or even marketing or web design, give us a shout at connect@dhhospitalitygroup.com or come visit our website at www.dhhospitalitygroup.com. Have a great time, everybody, and we will see you on the next episode of Behind the Counter.
See you later.